a very pleasant good morning to all guests, dignitaries, HODs, IQAC head, all the faculties present here, and my fellow participants. I, Srishti, welcome you all on the behalf of Technia Institute of Advanced Studies, a leading institution of academic services. I feel privileged and delighted to extend my warm welcome to all presented here for this knowledge enhancing webinar series 2. We will be talking and gaining knowledge today on the topic Relevance of City Reporting, Crime Beat. Series first of this webinar on city reporting was quite a good success and the responses and feedbacks has led for the another series. The webinar is being organized by the department Bachelor of Journalism and Mass Communication under the patronage of IQAC, Technia Institute of Advanced Studies. IQAC. It is the Internal Quality Assurance Cell. The IQAC plays a vital role for planning, guiding, and monitoring quality assurance and quality enhancement activities of our college. IQAC acts as a significant administrative body of our institution that holds the responsibility for all quality matters. IQAC initiates, plans, and supervises various activities as its prime responsibility that are necessary to increase the quality of the education imparted in our college for the students studying here. So now, I would like to welcome our Honorable Director Sir, Dr. Ajay Kumar Rathore Sir. Dr. Ajay Kumar Rathore has collected more than 22 years of experience in his bucket in the field of education and industry. Dr. Rathore Sir has conceptualized and conveyed more than 30 national and international conferences and has attended several conferences as a guest of honor. Dr. Rathore Sir persists towards his aim to work innovatively for the betterment of education. Sir, may we have some kind words from you?
Good morning, and I take this opportunity to extend our special welcome to yet another session of star-studded panel of webinar series to Mr. Rajiv Khanna, Associate Editor, TheCitizen.in, and Ms. Chandrani Banerjee, Consulting Journalist, The Wire. Technia Institute of Advanced Studies, IQAC, Bachelor of Journalism and Mass Communication students, they have spearheaded the topic relevance of crime reporting, crime beat. And this, they find that a lot of students of the journalism and mass communication are seeking their career in this area, but this is a most area which is require a different kind of personality, those who are daring, those who can be able to take the challenge head on, and those who can be able to analyze the behind the scene what would have been happened and what exactly could have been transpired, because every time when the crime is being committed, the criminal has updated his knowledge and he is going to use certain kind of innovative tools and techniques to conduct that particular heinous crime, whatever the things are reporting. And every time we are seeing that the page 1, page 3, sometimes an inside page also flooded with these kind of crime reporting, you can say, news. And in the morning when we are seeing the first page political phase, then the second and third page is sometimes the city news, and every newspaper, city news, the crime reporting beat is there. So for the journalism student, this part is one of the important ingredients as far as the knowledge is concerned to become a complete journalist. Without crime beat knowledge and how to report the crime in the city, the Bachelor of Journalism Mass Communication is not completed. So we are fair enough that we have been able to invite Mr. Rajiv Khanna and Ms. Chandrani Banerjee, who are the expert in these areas, where they will be able to guide our students to help serve. We welcome you on this platform, academic platform of Technia Institute of Advanced Studies. Dr. Mr. Rajiv Khanna, I welcome you, and Chandrani Banerjee, ma'am, I welcome you on this webinar series 2. In continuation our previous one with Ishwar Nath, journalist, statesman, and Sanjay Kaur, journalist, senior journalist, Asian Age. So this is the second in series, and we are going to continue it for more number of times to the students. Thank you very much. Dr. Aman Jha, for inviting me and sharing the stage with the experts over here. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome you once again on the show of an academic platform of Technia Institute of Advanced Studies. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. Now, I would like to welcome Dr. M. Jha, sir. He is the Dean of BAGMC Department with his enriching experience of 36 years of academics and industry from field and education line. He keeps on guiding and motivating us. We thank you for giving this opportunity, sir. We'd like to have some words from you as well.
Thanks, Sisti. I start with the warm welcome of our guest, Mr. Rajiv Khanna and Ms. Chandani Banerjee. The Technical Institute of Advanced Study has been waiting these two guests since long because of this pandemics. We could not tap the opportunity to invite them, but now it's a great feeling for the BHMC department in particular and Technical Institute of Advanced Study in general to welcome you both. I thank our Honorable Director, sir, for the good words. He is the man behind all these activities and motivation. I won't miss to welcome Dr. Ajay Pratap Singh, who is heading the IQC cell very efficiently and the man behind the great team of getting accreditation of A, and we are planning and doing great for moving ahead to have the target of the A+ on the basis of our quality imparting to the students and around. So well, the topic I still remember that 4 or 5 months back when it was already planned, the first series, Ms. Chandani Banerjee ma'am was to be the part of that webinar part 1, and she had suggested this topic. When I got chance to meet her with Mr. Sanjay Kao, this relevance of the city reporting, and so it is a matter of feeling for me to be with her and along with Rajiv Khanna sir. The trend is rising in the cities. The crime trend is rising. Every day we find this murdering, this rape, this extortion, especially now in the digital age. So the responsibility of the reporters and the journalists. So it is quite important to invite the people, the person, the journalists, the senior journalists, the editors, to share their knowledge, the experience, and especially guidance to our students and the faculty in the area of domain. Some of the very pertinent issue which this crime reporting and city reporting in the crime beat is facing, that sensitize the issue and invading the privacy of the victims or the other party, and glorifying the crime and criminals, and settling down the personal issue with the judges, police officers, investigating officers, and even journalists and all, and maintaining or non-maintaining the ethical standard. There are many issues. So better, I would like to invite these two resource persons. I won't take much time to invite these two resource persons to start this webinar on this very poetic topic. Thank you. Thank you very much. Once again, I welcome you both. Sister, please.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Now, I would like to welcome and thank our faculty coordinator, Dr. Sheel Tripathi ma'am, for coordinating and guiding us for today's webinar. And now let's welcome our chief guest today, Mr. Rajiv Khanna sir and Miss Chandrani Banerjee ma'am. I welcome and thank you, sir and ma'am, for sharing your time with us. So it's my pleasure to invite Miss Chandrani Banerjee ma'am. She is a well-known Delhi-based bilingual journalist and consulting journalist from The Wire. She has worked along with Outlook magazine and covered all the investigative agencies and Home Ministry and Defense Ministry and filed stories from the magazine. Along with, she broke the PF scam involving High Court and Supreme Court judges. She went to Columbia Journalism School to do an investigative course, especially designed for mid-career journalists. She is currently freelancing with The Wire and teaching at IIMC and various other media institutions. Ma'am, we would like to know more from you. Please endow us with your extensive knowledge.
So we are talking about city reporting how crime works. Thank you for a illustrious introduction, and thank you, Dr. Jha and Dr. Rathore, for inviting me and having me here and giving me an opportunity to share my knowledge. Thank you so much. The heart of reporting, I guess, is city, because the first thing that we do in the morning, we open the papers, and then the first thing we do is we look at what is happening in the city. Share mein kya chal raha hai. So that is the main thing. Whether, and crime is one beat which gives you opportunity to cover almost every beat. Now you'll say, if I'm covering health, how crime is related to it? If there is a case of negligence, it is a crime beat coverage. If there is a leak of oxygen and lack of oxygen, both will come under FIR will be lodged, and both will come under crime. Also, wrong treatment, wrongly confined patient's family for non-payment of bills, again comes under crime. So I'm just giving you a basic this thing, like, in education. Let's talk in education. If in education there is fake certificates or fake affiliation is taken, and then parents are being convinced to pay for the brand of the university, and then told that, look, you have to, this is the university, we are going to give you the degree from London and this thing. And then finally you figure out that, there's no affiliation. The claims are absolutely false. So in that case, again, crime comes into the picture. So you will go to the police and lodge an FIR, and then the police will take action against that institute or university or whatever. So every beat is more or less related to crime. And of course, all court beats are anyways related to crime. Like court beats, like Jessica Lal happened in city. So when Jessica Lal was murdered in Delhi's Tamarind Court in South Delhi, the first thing happened is FIR was registered. First thing what we do is anything happened, we dial 100. So dial 100 has a huge significance in our day-to-day life, and we really, each and every individual who is by 15 years of age, they get to know what is dial 100, right? So crime is like, we grow up with that, and we know what is prohibited and what is not. So I would like to bring in some cases also where, when you go out to cover crime, what do you keep in mind? Like when you are out to cover crime, first thing you do is first you inspect the spot. Suppose Jessica Lal's murder happened and you went to the spot. So what will you do? You first observe everybody who, now that was the spot was such, like you have to assess. It was a party scene. A party was going on where a murder has taken place. And there were some intruders who have demanded liquor after the bar was closed, and that is how the verbal altercation started, and then it turned for worse, and this is what had happened. So now, how will you take this forward? How you are supposed to be a fresher, and you've been sent on the spot. So the moment you'll reach the spot, you'll first observe who all were invited in the party, who all were invited, who came, who honored the invitation, and who didn't turn up. That is the first thing. Second thing, what was the make of the pistol, how things have happened, what timeline of the events. All these things are very vital in as far as crime is concerned. Now, Jessica, I have given you examples, so I would like to elaborate further. That Jessica Lal is a case which first lower court given a clean chit to the named accused. Now, what is named accused? When you file an FIR in a crime case and you name somebody that so and so has really tortured me, so and so has committed this crime, I've seen, I'm an eyewitness. So that is a named FIR. Like, Chandrani Banerjee was shooting while I was there. And that is, if you tell the police this thing, that is a named FIR. So Jessica Lal was such a case where, a named FIR was lodged, and yet the court has let the accused go, given a clean chit to the accused. Now, the twist and turns of the story is no less than a masala movie. So, first it was told that, only one pistol was, of course, one pistol was used, and one pistol was used to kill Jessica Lal, which was used by Mani Sharma, who is a very talked about case, and who's, Manu Sharma was a political prodigy who was son of a Congress MP from Chandigarh, Vinod Sharma, and he, he went to the party and he demanded liquor from the bartender. The bar was tended by around that time by two people, Jessica Lal, who was a famous and known model, and the other one was Shayan Munshi, who's also an upcoming Bollywood star. And both of them, in front of Shayan Munshi, this guy Manu Sharma, when he was denied a liquor bar, she refused to serve the liquor. He just demanded and asked her to do it, and she didn't honor him. And as a result, he just took his licensed revolver and shot at her, and she died. However, when the case was presented in the court of law, it was told that there was two pistols. Two pistols were used. One pistol was used to shoot Jessica, and the other pistol was used to do an open fire. So the open fire is actually this thing, where this thing used that open fire, and then the court was told that there were two pistols. One was used by Manu Sharma, and there was another guy. That was the third guy was introduced in the court, and this case was fought by Ashok Arora. And then finally, we all got to know that this is what had happened. That there was only then the case was closed in lower court, and it was again after Jessica Lal's sister Sabrina Lal did a huge campaign that it was unfair, and there was a woman was killed in front of 30 or 300 odd guests, and nobody is ready to be testified before the court of law. And then the media also took up and ran a campaign on Jessica Lal's unfair judgment, and then the case was reopened in High Court, and then Manu Sharma was recalled, and all the evidences were recalled, and everything was revisited. And after that, it came out that there was only one pistol, and two fires, of course, two gunshots were there, but pistol was only one. One pistol was used to one gunshot was a celebrity gunshot, and second was second gunshot killed Jessica Lal. So this is how it was presented, and then the case reopened, and then Manu Sharma was put behind the bar, and he served the desired sentence. And then finally, what happened is that when the gunshots, when everything was far, then he served for a while. Then jail told that he was kind of a well-behaved convict, so he pleaded for mercy. And then Sabrina Lal said that if he has realized that what the crime he has done, it is all right for me to let him free. And this entire thing has, what I have told you in minutes, has taken years to unfold. This is what has happened. This was Jessica Lal, and there were many such cases which, if we talk about, then we figure out that how it turns out.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. The way you explained about that heart of reporting a city, along with the example of Jessica Lal and all the cases, it was really very interesting and informative. Thank you so much. And now I would like to invite Mr. Rajiv Khanna, sir, Associate Editor from the Citizen.in. He is a journalist with over 25 years of experience, have worked across several states and UTs, including Gujarat, Delhi, Punjab, Uttarakhand, Chandigarh, Haryana, Himachal, have handled a wide range of beats including defense, home, minorities, etc. He has the experience of all the mediums including print, TV, radio and digital. The organizations where he worked included Asian Age, BBC, Tribune, Indian Express, Times of India, besides others. Sir, we would like to know more from you and get enriched from your experience. Sir, please.
Dr. Rathore, Dr. Jha, and all the young friends. I would be talking mainly about, what is city reporting, how important it is, and then I'll move on to a bit on the crime scene, while also talking about what are the other beats that come under city reporting. So, first we have to understand, since all of you are students over here, we need to understand what is city reporting and why it is the most important aspect of reporting as such. So when I talk about city reporting, you will obviously understand city is the area where we live or the area from which a paper is being brought out, being published, the city from it is being published, and it encapsulates local reporting. By local reporting, I would mean it is a blanket coverage of everything, right from small incidents of crime to what is happening in the administration, what is happening in the courts, what is happening in the hospitals, what is happening in the schools, what is happening in the, I would say, even in the periphery of the city, the villages which touch the city, what is happening over there. So by blanket reporting, I mean we normally as reporters, we all have our beats. So somebody has crime beats, somebody has courts beats, but by that measure, I want to say that by blanket coverage, I mean that we are not supposed to miss out on any happening in the city. This also includes the cultural events, fairs and festivals, all of these. So if we see that city reporting is the most essential part of reporting, it is the most basic and most essential part of reporting. It is from here that a career of all the journalists take off. And you make your mark over here, and then you graduate into specializations later in the day, and that is when you later move to the state level reporting or national level reporting. So city reporting is the most important aspect of reporting, where you have to unlearn quite a lot of things that you'll be reading in your textbooks, since these don't work. Things are very subjective on the ground, and at the same time you pick up many other skills while you're reporting. So what are the requirements of a city reporter? A city reporter should be very well versed with the geography of the town or city he or she is reporting from. You need to know the shortcuts, you need to know the ways, you need to know the important spots, you need to know the important institutions that are there in the city. One is the geography. You are also supposed to be well versed with the culture of the place. Knowing the local language is always helpful. If you don't know it, you need to learn it, since you'll be talking to the man on the road during the course of your reporting. And mind you, while we read our papers, we always read, highly placed sources said this and that, or somebody from the officials. Officials are not the first place to go to. The first place is always the common man. And you get your, basic information from the common man. The senior officials are there only to deny or confirm the developments and maybe give something which kind of boosts the image of the administration or the department for which they're working. When it comes to journalism, and since a journalist has a role of a watchdog, our job is not, if an official is doing his job, that is his job. Our role comes in when he's not doing his job, and when we need to question each and every decision of the administration or the government. So city reporting by that measure requires all these skills. Another thing that a city reporter needs to know is some of the basics from all sides. He or she should be well versed with what is happening even in the crime field or in the courts, since they're all interlinked. when it comes to city reporting. Then I would like to explain a couple of things to you about city reporting. Why is city reporting, most important? The reason being, every reader, every viewer wants to know what is happening in his neighborhood, in his area, and the first thing he wants to know is, what are the developments in the city? Even if it's as small as a new park coming out, or a new hospital coming up, or a dispensary being shut down, these are news that actually matter to him on day-to-day life. Other things are for his knowledge, and they percolate at a much later stage. But as far as the local developments go, he needs to understand, how everything is impacting him. For example, if it appears in the newspaper that schools in the city would be closed today, normally the parents don't call up the principal's office, to ensure whether schools are shut. It is because it is in the papers, it means they are shut. That is the kind of importance city reporting has. People trust you like anything. And these are the people who also come up to you with their problems, and these problems slowly, gradually mature into stories. That is one thing. And it is the most sought after recipe. That is why you would know that almost before the pandemic, of course, now of course the economics have played a part in it, but otherwise we were getting local pullouts of every small town and city, which were where the papers were coming out. We would have a Noida pullout, we would have a Gurgaon pullout, we would have a Delhi pullout, just catering to the local news. And that is why we have to be all the more careful when it comes to reporting the city. Another thing that you would not you would not get to know from your books, and many times the academicians and even the professionals ignore, is the interplay of content and context when it comes to city reporting. By this I mean that as a reporter working in a city, it is assumed that the details, the nitty-gritty details of the city are known to the readers. So we don't bother, giving much details about the places and names and all. We just give more, minute details about the happenings. For example, if there's a shootout in Chandni Chowk, or I would say Balli Maran in Delhi, so I would assume that people living in Delhi know where Balli Maran is. They would know it is one of the most congested areas. They would know the demography of that place. They would know the markets of that place. They would know what happens over there. So I need not bother. I can just easily say that a shootout took place at Balli Maran, and then I could get into the details of the incident. What happened? Who were the persons involved? What was the background of the people involved? Where they were taken, to which jail, to which police station, and to which jail, and to which court. That is how it moves. But these are things important for a city reporter. But when it comes to, if you are reporting the same thing for a national paper, you will have to give the more of context, less of content. By this I mean you will have to explain Balli Maran, yes, a locality situated in the heart of Delhi, 10 kilometers from Connaught Place, and you would not get into the nitty-gritty details of the incident. You would just say that two people were caught. It doesn't even matter to people what were their names, but you give the names, and then you need not say that you took them to I would say Urdu Bazaar Police Chowki, and then they were taken to Daryaganj Police Station, and then the case came up in Tees Hazari Court. These do not matter to a person sitting maybe somewhere in Chennai or Bombay or other places. Interplay of content and context works in city reporting. Another important aspect of city reporting is that you get to learn how to establish reverse linkages. The thing is, when you are reporting, normally when there's a report coming at the national level, let's say, for example, there's a policy decision taken on anything for that matter. Or for example, I'll just give you a small example that a national reporter would say that the prices of petrol have increased because of various factors. Can be a war in the Gulf, can be something else, can be, the government deciding to impose more cess on it. That is what happens at the national level. For a city reporting, whenever you come to know that the prices of petrol have increased, you will just go and link it to the local population. What is the impact of this hike on the pocket of a local man? How would the daily commuters be affected? What would be the impact on the price on the bus tickets? rail tickets, rail passes, whether it will impact the sales of two-wheelers. So this is how it works. It's a reverse linkage aspect. Something happening maybe in the Gulf and how it impacts your city. That is what you get to learn in city reporting. Whereas, as I told you earlier, when it's at the national level or something else, you don't bother about it. It's again, they also rely on city reports. You might be getting to know that, so for example, there's an incident of lynching taking place in some small village, and how it is turned into a national issue. That is also an aspect of linkages. Something happening in a small village in Haryana, and how a reporter who's covering at the national level would also build his story around that. Yes, this incident has happened in Haryana. How many such incidents took place in the last 1 month? What were the reasons for these incidents? Where are they standing in the court of law? But this is how things work. So city reporting, by that matter, I would say, plays the most pivotal role when it comes to reporting. And this is where, once you establish yourself as a city reporter, later everything is quite easy for that matter. And city reporter, mind you, requires another thing. You are the eyes and ears of your newspaper. So that means a lot of spot reporting. Unfortunately, that has vanished for now. But I think and I hope it comes back in a big way in the days to come. By this I mean you need to go to every spot possible. Whenever there's an accident, you need to be on the spot. Whenever there's a murder, you need to be on the spot along with the policeman. But that is where you get to know, I would say, more details which enrich your copy and also turn out side stories. Whenever there's a meeting, for example, if it's the open house, the standing committee meeting of the corporation, you need to go there. If it's the house meeting, you have to attend it. What is happening over there? It is from there that many stories take off. So for that matter, city reporting becomes all the more very, very important. And now I would say that city reporting, what it encapsulates is various beats. It's the most important, of course, is crime. Then comes crime is very important. Courts are very important. Then come your education, your health. Then slowly, gradually, you move on to the municipal beats, where you get to know the functioning of the grassroots democracy in India, because that is where you learn issues of power, water, housing, encroachments, demolitions, what it means, how it plays up. That is another thing. And then, of course, the city administration. And all these beats are very interlinked. Particularly, I would say crime, health, and courts. Suppose a crime happens, a person is killed, next he's taken to the hospital. The post-mortem report or the viscera report is all the more important when it comes to following up the story. Then when it goes to the courts, you need to, the court reporters, although he's reporting what is happening, but he's also falling back on the report filed by the crime reporter on the very first day, what had happened, who, what, when, where, why of the crime. That is very important. So coming back, since I this, I would now touch a bit on crime reporting. What is crime reporting, and what are the ingredients that are required for crime reporting. Crime reporting, as you know, anything which is against the law. It doesn't matter even if it is small, big, whatever it is. Certain offenses are non-cognizable, certain are cognizable, but you need to be aware of all these things. And as a crime reporter, you need to have some basic knowledge of law also. By that I mean, you should be well versed with IPC and CRPC, because when we call up the police stations in the middle of the night and the person on the other side is not that educated and he's not that well versed with communication, and you ask him, is there a case that has been registered there? And he would say, yes, there's a case of 376. Now you should know that what is 376? It is rape, and it's a major thing. And that is how you ask him about the details. What are the details? And he would tell you the details about the case, and he would also tell you what are the other sections that have been applied to the FIR. He would say there's this section of 307 applied. There's a section of molestation or enraging the modesty of a woman, and all these sections that have been applied over there. And for that, he would just name the sections. It is for you to know and explain to your readers what these sections mean. when it comes to reporting, filing a report, or following up your story on that matter. So that is one, you need to know the basics of law. Second, you need to know the basics of medicine also, particularly when it comes to postmortem and viscera and some of the technical terms that they use. You need to know all that, which you gradually obviously pick up when you are working on that. And IPC also, CRPC also, for that matter. And now, of course, since you have particular specialized laws, particular laws for particular crimes, you also need to be very well versed with these laws and their sections and how they are implemented. For example, after this Delhi rape case, this Nirbhaya rape case, we had this POCSO coming up. Now, what is POCSO? What are the provisions? How harsh is the law? For another thing, we are also these days dealing with UAPA. What is this law? What was TADA? What was MISA, for that matter? You need to have that kind of history also, and that kind of research also continuously going up with you. And a crime reporter is the busiest person in a newspaper. There's a saying that he never gets to see either the rising sun or the setting sun, because when the sun rises, he's fast asleep, and when the sun sets, he's busy filing or he's busy gathering details. And quite often he's busy round the clock, running from one spot to the other, and gathering information or maybe building sources. And maybe as a crime reporter, as Mr. Jha said in the beginning, that you need to have some very special skills. By that I mean that you need to be you need to know how to communicate with cops, and quite often you build your sources on the roadside, and these are people who are themselves into shady dealings. So you need to have a different kind of knack for reporting crime, and you need to be very bold also, for that matter. You cannot be meek, because there are occasions when you feel hostile, when you kind of face hostile situations also. There are occasions you are in the middle of a lathi charge or tear gas shelling, or even clashes. And nowadays, even in my case, I covered quite a lot of riots. I was covering Gujarat riots in particular, and even the Haryana riots some time back. So you need to be on the spot. You need to, and of course, that saying comes very important. You need to have your eyes and ears open at all times. So life is not very easy for a crime reporter, but I would say that yes, crime reporting, since it's very demanding also, but it's at the same time it's very satisfying also. The moment your exclusives appear in the newspaper, and crime stories are the most read stories in a newspaper. Research has proven time and again that no matter, on one side you have a story about the government announcing 10 welfare schemes for the people, and on the other side you have a story of a brutal murder in your city, or the murder of a prominent person, or a rape. The first thing that a man would read is this crime story. By this, I would like to end up, and I would be glad to answer questions coming from you on all these aspects that I've talked about. Thank you.
Okay, sir. You gave the knowledge like the requirement of city reporting, knowing local languages, being well versed, and going to commoners, and many more. Interplay of content and context, and also that we are the eyes and ears, along with various beats like health, education, etc. You also told us that what is crime reporting, important points we should keep in mind as a crime reporter. So you enlightened us with the content which are very helpful for us in the relevance of city reporting. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your views and knowledge with us. Thank you so much, sir. And now I would like to again invite our Dean, sir, Dr. Aman Jha, sir, for his guidance and advice.
Thanks, Srishti. Thanks for great comparing. I extend my thanks personally to Ms. Chandrani Banerjee ma'am and Mr. Rajiv Khanna sir. Chandrani Banerjee ma'am cited the example what she worked on the Jessica murder case, very interesting, and interest is also a very important part of the teaching students. Unless you are pulled in the class, unless you are pulled in the lecture, it becomes very difficult for a faculty, for a teacher, for a resource person to teach you, to make you learn about. So that's a great, thankful to. And I'm again thankful to personally Rajiv Khanna sir, what the way he elaborated the basic essentialities to capture basic information related to crime. The way he elaborated for my students, I think you will certainly have lot many takeaways from this webinar. The content versus context, city versus national arena. It's a great Rajiv Khanna, sir. I think there are lot many things what I need to narrate about you both, but keeping the time in view, Sisti, carry on inviting the students and faculty members. So for the question, what holding in your mind to ask these two great resource persons. So Sisti, one by one, if any, may raise your hands for a question, please.
Okay, sir. So, my dear fellow students, if you have questions, please raise your hands. We'll love to answer your questions. We have your experts sitting. Anything which you like to ask or which you have confusion, please raise your questions.
Are the students or the bona fide faculty members as well?
Okay, we have 3 people right here. You can unmute your mic as well. Vasam Zafar, Shruti Jain, Sarthak Jain.
Sir, I'm Sarthak Jain. I'm of BJMC and I'm a first year student from Division B. Sir, my question is this: sir, in the case of Vikas Dubey, sir, the media was however, somehow controlled by the police. They were not, sir. उनकी कार को रोक लिया गया था पेट्रोल पंप के पास, and then sir, आगे बाद में बता दिया गया कि एनकाउंटर हो चुका है. तो सर ऐसी सिचुएशंस अगर हो तो हाउ टू रिएक्ट एज अ मीडिया पर्सन अबाउट द पुलिस?
Well, the very first thing मैं आपको ये कहना चाहूँगा कि number one, as a journalist, you must keep in mind we are watchdogs of the society and we are the voice of the people. Delhi Chief, very first thing. By that measure, we see that we have to question the police and its acts. They are not sacrosanct. We have to raise questions about them. और जैसा कि आपने कहा कि पुलिस ने मीडिया की गाड़ी रोक दी, that is, they applied force. They kind of suppress the rights of the media to be on the spot. So when it comes to reporting, you have to carry reports on this also, raising this question with the police higher-ups. As a reporter, you need to ask the SSP of the city or the DGP of the state so as to why the media was stopped. And by the very reason that you were stopped and an encounter was announced later, itself sows the doubts in the minds of a reader. A reader would, just ask to himself, why was the media convoy stopped from reporting at the spot? Which means there is something fishy. So this is how things work. जैसा मैं आपको कहना चाहूंगा कि मीडिया में ऐसा होता है कि एज अ रिपोर्टर यू डू योर जॉब, यू रिपोर्ट फैक्ट्स एंड यू रिपोर्ट विदाउट बायस. अ रीडर अंडरस्टैंड्स. क्वाइट ऑफन डोंट यू सी कि जब आप कोई चीज रिपोर्ट करते हो, आपके न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ने वाले का रिएक्शन क्या आता है किसी पॉलिटिशियन के बयान पे कि क्या बकवास कर रहा है यार, ऐसा हो सकता है क्या? It means he knows what is there. People understand. It is for your job to raise all those doubts. You have to put in those sort of pinnacles so that the authorities that we need to answer and come out transparently on what exactly happens. Okay? I think I've answered your question.
Next question.
Thank you so much, sir. I got it. My mic was muted.
Yes, sir. Hello. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah.
So it's Wasam Zafar this side, a BJMC student from Division B, and I really got this opportunity to have to listen to you both, the guys, and I really learned many more. Very especially thanks to Chandrani ma'am, who just take up this case, Jessica Lal case. But ma'am, I would also like to ask you a question about what are the responsibilities, roles and responsibilities must a reporter have when he got upon the cases like Hathras case, which happened the last year, and she was happened to be burned as a Dalit woman and never get the justice that she must have, that she must had. But what are the set of responsibilities, ma'am? Because these are the conditions when politics plays a role in it, and we are so engrossed in politics that we didn't take a chance. We didn't like to take a chance in this political rigmarole. So are we So I think you have got my question, ma'am. Please, can you answer this?
Okay, Wasim, the Hathras case was a very prominent case where you really need to, a reporter is really need to be careful about one thing, that on first foremost thing, that you have to, you cannot reveal the name of the victim. That is, in a rape case, you don't reveal the identity and name of the victim as per Supreme Court judgment. You have to protect that. That is the first step. Second step is, you are not supposed to glorify or exaggerate the crime. You have to report as it is. Secondly, please, which is very vital, that whatever the case is, and no matter how much it is being talked about or whatever, it should be the version of both the parties should be incorporated and taken. At least you must talk as a reporter. You must try to talk to every stakeholder in the story. Now, in the Hathras case, the stakeholders were the victim's family, all the administration, political leaders, and the Rajput community, and plus the guy in question. So, so everybody should have been taken into account. One-sided story, just talking to the family and doing a story. Once you will talk to everybody, you will get the hang of it. Who is at a fault? And if you keep doing it, you'll certainly be able to make out a transparent story where you would know which part need to be highlighted and which part need to be played down, which is very vital. Suppose you don't talk to few people, you only talk to one person and you don't know what the other person has to say. I'm not saying the other person has to be correct or wrong. The other person could be completely wrong, but if you'll not talk to the other side of the story, if you'll not see the other side of the coin, you might not get a transparent picture, and which may lead to ultimately a very bad situation, a bad turnout of the of your story and your credibility, which is always built through crime stories. A reporter, when he starts off, nobody knows him. And we start doing crime beat, everybody comes to know him within a month or two. So you get very quick identity. And if you really want to kind of maintain that identity and your credibility, then you must speak to every stakeholder of the story. That is the most careful thing, I would say. Yeah. Next.
Thank you, ma'am. It was very thoughtful of you to answer my question. Thank you, ma'am, very much. Thank you.
Good morning.
Ma'am, my name is Shruti Jain. I'm from BJMC first shift.
Right.
Ma'am, my question is to you is this, that I want to know that how lack of oxygen is related to crime reporting.
Okay. Now, lack of oxygen, if not reported by the hospital, because the hospital authorities will always get an idea. So, if the hospital would be very well aware how much oxygen is left and how many patients can be catered to with the remaining oxygen. If the hospital has not informed the authorities beforehand or before prior to ending of the oxygen, without taking the time gap or time space, then it is very difficult for a patient to survive, because it is life and death kind of a situation where you give a patient to oxygen amount. Oxygen is such a vital thing. Suppose on the part of hospital there is a negligence and they forget to procure the oxygen within the time, and as a result the patient dies, it will be a criminal case. And if that is on record, that the oxygen has been announced that this oxygen cylinder will end at this time, and even then the action has not been taken on the part of hospital, it will turn into a criminal case. In fact, a murder case rather. The doctors will have to serve the jail. So then it's like there are a lot of consequences and fallout of such a situation. So if the oxygen, so what I'm trying to tell you is that everything which is happening in the city or in the society has a crime angle. If you observe it very minutely, you'll find every angle has a. If there is a marriage, The law says that you have to seek permission before you. The law says that you cannot play the music after 10. So even every when you start covering crime, you see every story has a crime angle. Every beat has a crime angle. So if you do crime, you can do any beat. But if you do health, you would find difficulty doing crime. That is what. Because crime gives you a lot of opportunity to delve into other kind of other city beats, like education, health, culture, anything. Like I did a crime story on Anjali Ella Menon. Anjali Ella Menon is a very famous painter, and her paintings were copied and sold. So there was a huge case. 40 paintings were stolen and then copied and then resold. Those were fake paintings. So there was a huge case.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Anytime.
And my second question is to Rajiv, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yeah. Good morning.
Sir, I basically want you to know the structure of city reporting.
Okay. You want to know the hierarchy? What are the people around with their
Yes, sir.
responsibilities?
Yes, sir.
So, okay. Nowadays, we have very many fancy designations also coming up, but talking in terms of, the classical sense. On the top, we have a chief reporter. The chief reporter's job is mainly to kind of give assignments to the reporters and to also make the daily story lists, update these lists, and be informed, keep on informing the desk about developing stories. That is the chief reporter at the top. Then, in terms of seniority in a city, if it's a state capital, we have a high court reporter. If it is not, then we have the reporter who's covering the local administration, the commissionerate or the state office. He is responsible for that. After that comes the chap who's covering the local municipal body. It can be a municipal corporation or a municipal council, whatever it is. Then it is followed by other reporters handling other beats. And these beats come in terms of, every beat is important. But when it comes to readership, we have certain beats which have a very dedicated readership. And among them come crime, courts, health. And then we have a person who will be reporting local business and economy. Then we have a person who will be reporting cultural events and arts. We'll also have a reporter who might be reporting consumer courts. And many a times these beats are also clubbed. For example, a person might be given health along with consumer courts, or a person who's covering legal, the district courts will be covering consumer courts. Health one can also be covering, a small thing like you can have these, for example, the elder citizens. This can also be a beat. So this is the way the structure is. I hope you've understood what it is.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, we have here Ishita Singh and Rupali Das. You two are raising your hands. Please raise your questions.
Good afternoon, sir, ma'am. Rupali this side from first year BJMC department. So my question is, sir, as budding journalism student, it is always our problem to know the difference between investigative and interpretative journalism because they seem complementary. So, sir, how can we just unveil this mystery through answering this question?
Well, Rupali, the thing is, first thing comes your investigation. And as you grow up investigating things, investigating the spot, the developments, the kind of statements coming from various quarters when it comes to crime reporting, you will gradually also develop a sense of interpreting them. It is, interpretation comes at a later stage when you have kind of mastered your investigation and your, other skills of looking for clues in the different corners about a story. And it is later that you get to interpret things. For example, if you are constantly interacting with the SP of the city, on crime case after case of crime, after 5-6 cases, you'll come to understand what he means and what he does and what he actually, what he actually implements. that is how it goes. So I would say first thing is you need to investigate things, hone your investigative skills. Interpretative skills kind of complement, they come gradually to you. I hope I'm clear on this.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, and Ishita Singh, please unmute your mic and raise your question.
A very good morning, respected ma'am and sir. I'm Ishita Singh, a student of Journalism Shift 1, Division A of Technia Institute of Advanced Studies. So first of all, I'd like to thank you all for enlightening us with a bunch of knowledge that was really fruitful, that will be really fruitful to us. So my question basically was to Mr. Rajiv sir, and I had my questions into two parts. So the first part is, although there is no connection of the question with the ethics of reporting and all, but I wanted to ask that, as you reported that the crime reporting is actually the busiest beat, then as a crime reporter, how to cope up with the stress and chaos, and also could you please give me some good advice to be good at it? And the second part is that the Gujarat part you covered, that the rights one, the human rights. Could you please come up again with a psychological difference you find in a reporter's life with that case?
Well, the questions that you've asked are very, very pertinent, and they need to be answered. First one that you asked was about the ethics and how does a crime reporter cope up with the stress. Well, coping up mechanisms depend from individual to individual, but I would just suggest a couple of things. One is, when you're through with your job, do not take your job to your home. Once you're through with it, I know you are busy round the clock, but as and when you're through with it, just shut it over there, and maybe resort to some other hobbies or things that you like to do, or the food you want to eat, and just have your meal in peace and indulge in other things, because as and when you start off again on the beat, you'll be engrossed in the developments over there. That is one aspect of it. And coping mechanism varies from a person to person. A person might like to meditate for half an hour and he would be through for the entire day. I don't do it myself. I'm not a person who's into meditation and all that stuff. But for me, the break came in terms of listening to some good music, interacting with some good friends for a while, or maybe reading. Reading has been a passion with me, so that has helped me divert my attentions from one place to another quite a lot. And as a reporter or as a journalist, I would like to suggest it to all of you that you must have this habit of reading. Reading will help you not only come up as a personality, as a different personality, but it will help you in reporting also. Very often you'll keep on going back to stuff that you've read, even if it is fiction, even if it is lifestyle, and you can always kind of bring it back into your reports. Many a times we even report Shakespeare at times when we're even filing copies on crime. I can report something, pick up a line from Macbeth and put it in or maybe Merchant of Venice, put it in a crime copy. So that is how it is. And the second thing that you asked me about the Gujarat thing. Well, Gujarat, I was covering rioting, and Gujarat riots were of a massive scale. They did take a toll on me also, but again, I've tried kind of, divert my attentions towards other things whenever I was free over there, because life does not stop. You are eyes and ears of the society. You report what is happening over there, but even if you want to, you cannot help everyone over there, all the victims, or you cannot even share everyone's pain, because after a point the pain also gets saturated, you see. So there you have to be very kind of hard with yourself, as well as the scenario around. You have to just focus on your reporting. You just have to say that this has happened, this is what I have to report. I cannot become a kind of a party to what is happening over there. So you have to keep yourself aloof from what is happening, have a third eyes view, and report the stuff over there. I know it's difficult, but slowly, gradually, you kind of pick up on this habit and build it in your personality. I think I've answered your question.
Yes, sir, definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to ask from my faculties, Ritika ma'am and Vipul sir. Please ask your questions regarding this.
गुड आफ्टरनून सर एंड मैम। मेरा क्वेश्चन सर ये है कि हम न्यूज़ चैनल्स को देखते हैं तो उसमें सर ये आता है कि जब हम एथिक्स की बात करते हैं तो उसमें सबसे पहले जब न्यूज़ शुरू होती है तो आता है कि ना खबरों के प्रायोजित हैं रूपा फ्रंटलाइन या पतंजलि फिनाइल। क्या सर यही अब मीडिया का एथिक्स रह गया कि ये सब चीज़ें जो है मीडिया दिखा रहा है या कर रहा है? जिस तरह से ये कहते हैं कि एडवर्टीजमेंट पहले होती है और इसको ये प्रायोजित कर रहे हैं, मतलब न्यूज चैनल्स को ये स्पॉन्सर कर रहे हैं या न्यूज चैनल एथिक्स के बेस पर काम कर रहा है?
Well, it's a very debatable issue, but at the same time मैं आपको एक चीज ये कहना चाहूंगा कि जब आप फील करते हैं किसी चैनल या पेपर के बारे में कि ये प्रायोजित खबरें ही दिखा रहा है, you have a wide choice with you. I would suggest why don't you go and switch on to alternative media. इतने वेबसाइट्स हैं जो बिना विज्ञापन के भी आपको जेन्युइन न्यूज दे रहे हैं, जो इन डिटेल इन डेप्थ आपको खबरें दे रहे हैं, आपको जो एक्चुअल खबरें जो लोगों की खबरें हैं और न्यूज दैट मैटर्स टू द सोसाइटी वो दे रहे हैं, इंस्टेड ऑफ कि किसी बॉलीवुड पर्सनालिटी ने आज कौन से कपड़े पहने और किसी बॉलीवुड पर्सनालिटी ने आज कैसा डांस किया और कहाँ डांस किया और करवा चौथ कैसे बनाया। देर आर मेनी वेबसाइट्स, देर आर मेनी एंड चैनल्स ऑल्सो आई वुड से जो आपको न्यूज भी दे रहे हैं कि भाई फला जगह पे आग लगने से इतने लोग मरे, फला जगह पे क्लैशेस में इतने लोग मरे, फला जगह पे सरकार ने ये डेवलपमेंटल पॉलिसी अनाउंस की, इसका इम्प्लीकेशन क्या होगा, उसकी डिस्कशंस होंगी उस पर। बट एज अ व्यूअर आपके ऊपर भी एक दायित्व बनता है कि आप क्या चीज लेना चाहते हैं। मतलब मीडिया को कोसना, कोसना मतलब आपके एस्पेक्ट से नहीं कह रहा, बट वैसे कह रहा हूँ कि एक जनरल फीलिंग है कि मीडिया को गलियाना बहुत आसान है आज की डेट में। बट एट द सेम टाइम आप ये भी देखिए कि किसी के साथ कुछ गलत होता है तो सबसे पहले वो किसके पास भागता है? वो किसी रिपोर्टर के पास भागता है। दूसरी चीज, कहीं पर अगर 45 डिग्री में ब्लास्ट होता है, कोई नहीं वहां जाता, कौन जाता है? एक रिपोर्टर जाता है अगेंस्ट ऑल ऑड्स। तो रिपोर्टर अपना रोल प्ले करते हैं, मैनेजमेंट्स की जो अपनी गेम्स हैं, उनकी इकोनॉमिक्स है, वो चीजें अपने लेवल पे काम करती हैं। वो एक क्लैश हमेशा एडिटोरियल और मैनेजमेंट का रहा है और रहेगा। और अनफॉर्चुनेटली आजकल ये जो एडवर्टाइजिंग है ये ज्यादा हावी हो चुकी है। बट एट द सेम टाइम जो आपके पास सोर्सेज ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन है, सोर्सेज ऑफ न्यूज हैं, वो भी बड़े हैं। वो आपके ऊपर है कि आप कौन सा चैनल या कौन सा वेबसाइट या कौन सा न्यूज़पेपर आप पढ़ना पसंद करते हैं। और जब आप पढ़ना पसंद करते हैं, क्या वो आपको दे रहा है जो आप चाहते हैं? अगर दे रहा है तो व्हाई नॉट स्विच ऑन टू इट। आई थिंक इट आंसर्स योर क्वेश्चन।
यस सर, यू हैव आंसर्ड माय क्वेश्चन। बट सर आपने अल्टरनेट मीडिया चैनल्स की या अल्टरनेट न्यूज़पेपर की बात करी है, जनसत्ता को छोड़कर सर और थोड़ा बहुत हिंदू को छोड़कर बाकी कोई भी न्यूज़पेपर जो है इस तरह अगर जो हम जनसत्ता देख लें उसकी सर रीच और उसकी सर्कुलेशन, और सर द हिंदू है वो फिर क्रिटिक्स पे आ जाता है, एंटी बीजेपी। तो सर इसमें ऑडियंस को अब सर अभी कुछ टाइम समय पहले की बात है, डीएनए के सुधीर चौधरी जी बीमार थे तो सर फेसबुक पे हर एक सोशल मीडिया पे एक चल गया कि ना उनको वापस आना चाहिए, उनको वापस आना चाहिए। तो सर ये कुछ हद तक रिपोर्टर माना है कि 45 डिग्री की गर्मी में भी सर्दी में भी सर जो है वो रिपोर्ट्स देते हैं, लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं ये जो है एथिक्स को कन्फ्लिक्ट करता है मेरे हिसाब से।
सर वो डिबेट रहेगा ही रहेगा, जो मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ ना, वो डिबेट रहेगा और चलता रहेगा। बट इसके बीच में आपने रास्ता चुनना है। आपको जनसत्ता अच्छा लगता है, यू गो अहेड एंड रीड जनसत्ता। अब उसकी रीच कितनी है वो एक अगेन सवाल उठता है। अब हम लोग भी कई बार छोटे पेपर्स के लिए काम करते हैं, पर हमारा ये होता है कि हम सर्कुलेशन में भले ही कंपटीशन में हैं या नहीं है, बट एडिटोरियली वी आर कंपीटिंग विद द वेरी बेस्ट ऑफ द इंडस्ट्री। और हमने अपने एक्सक्लूसिव फाइल करने हैं, हमने पीपल सेंट्रिक स्टोरी करनी है। अब बीजेपी या कांग्रेस की बात में नहीं कहूंगा, बट जो भी पार्टी पावर में रहेगी दैट विल बी ऑलवेज अंडर स्क्रूटनी। और दूसरा ये जो कहते हैं कि भाई मीडिया ये नहीं दिखाता, मीडिया वो नहीं दिखाता, बट अल्टीमेटली आपको पता कहां से लगता है? मीडिया से ही पता लगता है ना। एक चैनल से पता नहीं लगता तो दूसरे से लगता है। दैट इज हाउ थिंग्स वर्क। और ये एक बड़ी कंटिन्यूस एवोल्यूशन का प्रोसेस है, और क्लैशेस भी हैं आपके मैनेजमेंट वर्सेस एडिटोरियल, और यू कैन से द लाइन ऑफ द ओनर ऑफ द न्यूज़पेपर एंड द रिपोर्टर्स। अब आप कई पेपर्स अपने आपको बोलते थे कि हम एंटी एस्टैब्लिशमेंट है, बट बाय एंड लार्ज यू कम टू नो कि दे आर नॉट एक्चुअली एंटी एस्टैब्लिशमेंट, दे वर एक्चुअली एंटी कांग्रेस और एंटी बीजेपी। तो दैट इज अनदर थिंग। वो डिबेट चलता रहेगा, और उसके बीच में एज अ कॉन्शियस रीडर, एज अ कॉन्शियस व्यूअर, आपको अपना रास्ता देखना है उसमें.
Okay, Ritika ma'am, you're raising hand. Please raise your question.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. I, Ritika Chaudhary from BJMC Department, faculty member. Firstly, I would like to thank both of you for such fruitful session. Sir, my question is from both of you. As we all know, we live in a society where people are still prejudiced about the intercaste or interfaith marriages. So there is a raise in the cases of honor killing as well. In fact, NCRB also has addressed about the data about such cases. I want to know if media persons also get influenced with such with coverage of such cases, and what kind of role media can play in such scenario. Or as a reader, how can we identify such news reports?
Well, as you said, ma'am, honor killings and all. It again, we have to evolve as a person, as a responsible citizen when I talk. So when we talk of a responsible citizen, we have to, people like you and me, who have particularly chosen to be in the field of communication, we have to raise ourselves above, caste, class, region, religion. We have to look at things purely from the perspective of a human being. And as you said, yes, things, it's difficult covering them, but we must try to highlight such cases more and more, so that we all know there are laws which in place that can check honor killings, that can provide protection to the victims. And that is why we need to highlight more and more such cases, and we have to be very blunt in calling a spade a spade. We have to take take these issues right to their logical conclusion, so that the police is compelled to give protection to the victims, and the courts also are, courts also, on coming to know what is happening, are able to give the required strictures to the government. That is how things work.
Very true, sir.
See, if in case of this interfaith marriages, the alternate media has played a very vital role. Alternate media, in the sense the digital media, alternate media, or say a very vital. There are cases where couple has been harassed or something. The social media has really come forward, so that G has also changed the perception of people. And the entire social media and the platform, digital platform, helped in removing many mental blocks and perceptions, which really turned out to be a great leveler of the society, where many in the society would now try to understand that why interfaith marriages or associations have been supported. Or for that matter, I would like to mention that if people they give, like queer community and all this alternate media, social media, and this thing has really played a role of leveler, where many people not aware or hardly now informed before they kind of join in the wagon. So the cases, if you see in I think you've got it. You got the answer.
Yes, ma'am. Very true. Social media can play a very wider role in unveiling such cases. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you both of you to answer our questions and queries. Now, I would like to invite my faculty coordinator, Dr. Sheel Nidhi ma'am, to sum up the session with the vote of thanks here.
Shrishti, thank you so much. And I would here like to thank you, our director, sir, and and also our dean, sir, for organizing and bringing to us the most, such resourceful persons who can enlighten us with such relevant examples. So thank you so much, dean, sir, for making this possible for all of us. And now I would also like to thank Rajiv sir and Chatterjee ma'am for giving the example-based thoughts to students. They are very much inquisitive. I was observing them, so they were quite inquisitive, quite interested to learn more about reporting. And when it comes to crime reporting, as Dean sir mentioned in the beginning, that the students remain very interested to learn as they find it very challenging. So here I am thanking both of you that you have guided them, and you have solved their queries also. You have with full patience you have listened to their questions and have answered to them. So I would like to thank you very much, and I would not miss the chance to thank the students for cooperating and listening to the webinar thoroughly, and asking questions, and clearing the thoughts. This is also one of the role of communication, to be a good listener, and since we are going to be budding journalists now, so thank you all of you. And with this I would like Dean sir to sum up. Thank you so much. So Dean sir.
Thanks, man. You already sum up. My once again extended thanks to Chandani ma'am and Rajiv sir. Thanks to all the students. Thanks for the wonderful question what they put in front of the resource person, and getting the wonderful reply. It is really very learning feast for the students, and I assure and I take assurance from these two resource persons. So we all will put them in the pain, time, and
So shall we kind of end it here?
thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, and I hope to get in touch with you again and again for such enlightening, wisdomful knowledge. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ajay sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dean sir. We should wind up now. Thank you. Thank you, Srishti.
Thank
Bye.
you.